Hello guys, I've been meaning to do this, but I'm having hard time to find um, a place and time to do this training with you guys. So here we are today. We'll do it online. So the care certificate workbook, I've given you copies of this. So if we open it on this page, it's the table of contents. You will see that we've got 15 standards, and these 15 standards relates to our workplace. So standard one is understand your role. Then you got your personal development, duty of care, etc. So we need to finish this within 12 weeks, and that's the deadline, guys. So if we say we'll do 2 to 3 every week, we got enough time to finish this one within 12 weeks. So help me guys, and I'm here as well to help you so we can finish it. Right, just a little bit of overview with care certificate. So the background is that this was introduced in April 2015. And to cut the story short, it is because of what we call the Francis Inquiry into findings that in the care settings, there's been like a lot of abuse that's happening. So that's why they created this care certificate to avoid those abuse, albeit intentional or unintentional. Okay, just read through this one, guys, and you'll understand more about the care certificate. Now, what I need you to do after reading the background about care certificate is to fill in this part, your name, your job role, employer, and your line manager. All right, so fill in this. So we got our manager. Employer will be our workplace, your job role, if you're a senior carer or a carer, just write it down and don't forget to put your name. Now, we need to start with the date and the standard. The way I'm doing it is not like we'll start with standard 1 going downwards to standard 15. I normally jump with standards, and I really would like to start with standard 15 and then 14. Then we will continue with standard 1. All right, so we'll skip this for now. We'll jump to standard 15, which I also gave you a copy of this. Okay, so in here, if you read through, you will get the picture of what is standard 15 is all about. So infection prevention and control, that will help you. All of the data's information that's in here will help you to answer the questions at the back. So these are the questions, but I would suggest you jump into the questions, because some of the questions are very self-explanatory, especially for those who are already in the care setting or have the background or have been already working for quite a while. Right, let's start with the first question here. So activity 15.1a, in order to prevent the spread of infection, you need to know how harmful organisms or pathogens can get into the body. So harmful organisms or pathogens, that would be your viruses, bacteria, and describe the 3 main ways of how an infection can get into the body. So 3 main ways on how the infection can get to the body. By just looking at the photo here, you can get the idea of the mode of transmission of infection. So the guy here looks like he's about to sneeze or cough. So the mode of infection, transfer of infection, or ways on how infection can get into the body is probably via droplets because of sneezing or coughing, and it can be through your nose, mouth, or eyes. The droplets can come into contact. So I would accept all of those answers, like droplets. You can say as well through when people sneeze or cough, if you don't want to use the word droplets. And you can also put their mode of transmission via nose, mouth, or eyes. Happy with that? Number 2, you can see here hand. I would also accept that answer, as the transmission or ways on how infection can get into the body is via your hands, or the other way of saying is via touching, or another way again of saying this is physical contact. So those are the things that you can put in here as your answers. The last bit is this one. I would consider answers like needle, injection, or you can put intramuscular, intravascular, or intravenous. Those are, or blood. Those are possible answers, or needle pricking. Those can be your answers on this one. See, it's just very simple. Next page. Here are the questions, and then in here there's subcategory for the questions. So we'll read through. Activity 15.1c. Workers have an important role in preventing infection spread, not only because they can spread pathogens between individuals, but also because they can host or carry a pathogen. Therefore, workers should practice good personal and hand hygiene. Think of someone you support and use 3 examples to explain how your own health or hygiene might pose a risk to this individual. So the first category is illness. So what illnesses can pose or might pose a risk to the individual that we take care of? So you can put your answers there. Or as I've said earlier, by just reading through the data part of this, in page 4, there it is. Illness, clothing, personal hygiene, skin health, good hand habit. Illness, clothing, skin health, personal hygiene, hand hygiene. So it will already support you on how to answer this question. All right, but we can try and answer it in our own words if you like. So what are the illnesses that can pose risk to the individual? Obviously, vomiting, diarrhea, colds, coughs, flu. Nowadays, we've got coronavirus. We've got MRSA. We've got conjunctivitis. There's loads of illnesses that you can write, and we just need 3 among those answers for this one. What else can you share for this one? Tuberculosis. What else? Norovirus can be an answer here. So there's loads, guys. Clothing. Let's go to clothing. What are the clothing that can pose risk? So obviously soiled clothings, long sleeves, because obviously when you're working and you're wearing jumper or something, that can pose risk. If you're not wearing uniform, obviously you're wearing your day clothes going everywhere, and then you use it at work, or vice versa. It can be your uniform and you're going everywhere wearing your uniform. So clothing, footwear as well. It's much better if you're using certain footwear for work and footwear to go around. So that's another thing. Okay, you can add some more in this one regarding clothing. Uniform can be an answer there, as we mentioned earlier. And even your PPE, like your masks, apron, etc., that you wear, so that can be part of your clothing that can pose risk to individual. Personal hygiene, that's our next one. So let's double check what are the things that I've mentioned in here about personal hygiene. So personal hygiene is extremely important for people who take care of others. Daily washing, showering, or bathing will remove most of the microorganisms on your skin. Hand hygiene is also extremely important. Fingernails should be kept short, rings apart from plain wedding bands. Yeah, so rings can also be, but with the exception of your wedding bands. Wrist watches or bracelets should not be worn, as they can make hand washing less effective. So those are part of your personal hygiene questions here. So that could be like you need to have a routine, like shower or wash. So then it was mentioned jewelries and bracelets or watches. It's all part of the personal hygiene here. Body odor can be one. So there's loads. We just need 3 answers for personal hygiene. Next would be skin health. So skin health is not only about you having like rashes, but also cuts and other skin diseases can be included here. Okay, so if you've got like boils or impetigo, there's lots of things that you can put about skin health. Scabies. All right, and then last bit here is hand hygiene. This is not only focused on the hand washing, but hand hygiene would also mean short nails, no nail varnish. So those are the things that you would consider, as well as the jewelry can be put in here as well, as and bracelet. It can be hand hygiene, but the main thing here is the hand washing. Okay. All right, next bit, types of PPE equipment or procedures. So with PPE, you will have your mask, gloves, apron, even your uniform and goggles. So those can be your answers there. And then how and when would you have to use it? So let's say mask is your number one. How and when would you have to use mask? So before, you rarely use mask in the workplace, but nowadays it's part of your PPE now. So upon entering the premises, you already gonna be wearing mask. So all the time you are wearing it. You remove it when it's soiled, or you're eating, or you're having your break. So that's your answer over this side. Apron, obviously there's two types of apron in the workplace, white and then blue. So you can explain it further here, that when you're doing personal care you use white, and when you're dealing with food you use blue apron. Then in here, uniform, when you come to work you change and put on your uniform. That way you're protected and your family are protected, and the people you're taking care of are protected. What else did we miss? Gloves. Obviously when you're handling soiled or bodily fluids, so you're wearing gloves. And last bit here is your goggles, so, or face shield. So nowadays with corona we are wearing it, and it's a standard precaution when there's infection around. And in the hospital settings, before you're wearing goggles or face shield when you're in the theater or in the emergency department and you're unsure of the people you are taking care of. So you can explain further here how and when to use that goggles. All right. Next bit is your last part, and this one is about handling infected waste and soiled linen in a grid waste can help to prevent the spread of pathogens. Explain how to deal with soiled linen and clinical waste in a safe way. So actions to prevent the spread of pathogens when handling soiled linen. So with us, our soiled linen, first thing that you need to be doing is wear your gloves and your apron handling with the soiled linen. Also, it's already standard that you're wearing your uniform, you're wearing mask in the workplace. So you can add it in your answer as well. But the main thing that I will be looking at would be gloves and apron. After putting your gloves and apron, you need to put the soiled linen in a red bag that's provided by the company, tie it, and then put it in a laundry bag which is color coded, and this is also red for the soiled linen. Then it will be taken to the laundry and it's being washed in a high temperature. I think in the workplace it's 70, but in the book here I think it's mentioned as 60 only, I think. So let's find it. I told you answers are found in here. Soiled linen, there it is. And then it's only 40 to 50. Right, I think it's about 60 in my workplace. So that's for the soiled linen, guys. The next category here is actions to prevent the spread of pathogens when disposing of clinical waste. So clinical wastes are pads, soiled pads. Sometimes we change catheter bag, so that will be considered as clinical waste as well. And your gloves and your PPE that you've used is clinical waste as well. So first thing again is to wear your gloves and apron, and then you put it in a white bag for the pad. For your gloves and your apron, you can just throw it directly in the yellow bin. But if your gloves are really soiled, you can also put it in the white bag that's provided by the company. The main purpose of that white bag is the smell, because in some workplace they don't put it in a white bag, they just throw it in the yellow bin, so straight to the yellow bin. So in our workplace, we put it in a white bag to avoid unpleasant odor in the workplace. So you put it in a white bag and then throw it in the yellow bin. So that yellow bin bag will be tied and taken and throw away in the yellow bin outside, and then obviously replace the yellow bag in that yellow bin. So I think you know about this, guys. So the night staff as well, before they end their shift, needs to do that as well. Okay, so the main thing again is wear gloves and apron, put the soiled pad as well as your soiled gloves in that white bag, tie it, throw it in that yellow bin. Then at the end of your shift, that yellow bin, you need to remove it, tie it, replace a new one, and throw it in the yellow bin outside. All right, I hope that's clear. And that concludes our standard 15. So date here, standard 15, and then that complete, observation complete. So this knowledge complete, observation complete, all of this I will do it for you. All you need to do is the date and what standard you've done. Okay, now about observation, that will be our evidence part. For those that I work with, I'll do that for you. For those like night staff, I will ask someone to do it for me, or one of these days I will just go and observe how you're doing it, like infection prevention, so hand washing, etc. I'll talk to you or observe you in the workplace. So on the evidence side, you can leave it. We'll talk about this when I'm back at work. And I got here standard 15. There you go. We'll talk about it. And then the next bit is standard 14. We'll do it another time. So this concludes our training, care certificate, standard 15, and we'll continue this another time. Thank you for watching this video. Bye.